Welcome to Sunday Morning. It was an adventure of a lifetime, an adventure that could have taken her life. A local woman is back home after taking on the challenge to climb the world's tallest mountain, Mount Everest. Monica Kalozdi shows us her pictures and tells us her incredible story a bit later on. She beat the odds, making it 29,000 feet to the top of Mount Everest. Why was it so dangerous, and what motivated her to keep going? Monica Kalozdi tells her fascinating story next. Welcome back. A trip to the death zone on top of Mount Everest is not your typical summer vacation. Then again, Monica Kalozdi is not your typical mother of three. She has set her sights on climbing the Earth's 7 summits, Mount Everest, her latest feat. She's back now in the Crescent City talking about her journey to the top and an issue very close to her heart, teen suicide. Monica Kalozdi joins us now with more on her fascinating story. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
What an adventure. Now tell us how you decided, why you decided to climb Mount Everest.
Well, I didn't start my life wanting to climb Mount Everest. A lot of people that I meet, you know, that's the only goal in life. But I just started climbing, and I fell in love with mountaineering. And as I got higher and higher, I realized next challenge would be Everest. So that made me go for it.
And so in May, you went over there.
I left actually March 28th. So I was on the mountain. I actually slept on ice over 60 days.
On 60 days in sub-zero temperatures for most of that time.
Minus 25.
In a tent, no bathroom, no shower, nothing like that. Pretty difficult time.
Absolutely.
I mean, what was that like? How would you describe those conditions?
Oh, as basic as you can possibly get. I mean, you really appreciate it. You start, when you have a barrel to use as your loo, you think that is terrible the first time, but after you go up above the mountain, when you don't even have a barrel, the barrel becomes fantastic.
All right, so tell us about this climb. Tell us when that started and how it went.
I left March 28th, and shortly afterwards, I already, you know, we traveled from Kathmandu to Lhasa, over the road, base camp.
And this was one of the tents you stayed in along the way?
That's along the way in Camp Free. And that's already in the summit push. Pretty high. That will be around 7,900 meters. And then toward the end, you're in what's called the death zone. This is when you're, what, 1,500 feet away from the summit, huh? This is the scary part. Above 8,000 meters, you already call it the death zone, where any mistake, they cannot bring you down alive. And you literally, your body is dying by the hour.
And you see evidence of that death as you're climbing this trail.
Yeah, there are at least 7 bodies that you can find right now. Most of the bodies eventually are pushed off the mountain into crevasses. But there are a lot of bodies, plus you see a lot of destruction. The force of Mother Nature right there.
Tearing apart your tents.
Completely shredded tents, lots of completely shredded. We had a very, very stormy season, probably one of the stormiest, and shredded tents.
Now you had planned to stay at this place, right?
That's one of the ones, yes, we were. Unfortunately, we had extra tents that were laying down, so it did mean the extra effort of popping up extra tents.
And at this point, you start needing oxygen tanks and that kind of thing, correct?
Yes. And most everybody, 99% of the people, 99.9% of the people use oxygen. It definitely is a lot safer. I certainly used oxygen.
And exhaustion is a major challenge.
To summit Everest, it's at least a 14-hour, 16-hour day. You're pushing your body absolutely to the limits.
This ladder represents one of the bigger challenges you face. Tell us what happened here.
This is the second step. It's right on the ridge, on summit day itself. We probably reached it right around 5 o'clock in the morning, around 5 o'clock in the morning, and it's about 150 feet high. In the first part, it's a pure rock climbing, remembering that we have oxygen tanks, heavy equipment, all covered up for minus 25
And boots
degrees.
with steel claws.
Boots with metal claws, which are called crampons. So you're actually rock climbing on rocks with crampons, with an oxygen tank. And then you have to climb up this ladder. And then you have to make a very difficult traverse to the left, a big step to make it to the top.
It's about a yard,
it's
that
about
step.
A yard, yes.
And at that point, tell us what you saw.
At the bottom of the ladder, unfortunately, last year there was a Japanese woman who once again, on the way down, made a misstep and fell the ladder. And
so you look down and you see this. I mean, that has to add to the fear that you must have at that point.
It reminds you every second that you're not allowed to make any mistakes, not on a mountain like this.
All right, so you keep going.
You keep going and you try to overcome all odds.
Along the way, you were expecting some oxygen tanks to be left for you, and they weren't. Tell us what happened there.
When I got to the step 3, which is an hour away from the summit, an hour and a half tops, there was supposed to be some hidden tanks, extra tanks at the ship. should have left there when they were putting the fixed rope. And when I requested, where's that extra tank? They told me there was none available.
Wow.
That was a shocker.
And oxygen is essential because if you don't have it, you could have brain damage or your lungs, you're not able to think clearly, basically.
With my body, the way my body works, I do not maintain oxygen in my saturation at good levels. Some mountaineers can do it without oxygen. I could never. I would probably die within half an hour on the summit without oxygen.
Some places, as you're climbing, you have foot-wide ridges that you're walking on, that you're hiking on.
Right.
Tell us about that, and what's down below?
10,000-foot drop into the glacier, into a crevasse. And you have the mountain on one side, and you have, not even if, the teeny little ledge, and it's straight down from there.
Now, you have trained for this, so you're not just cold going into this. You knew what to expect.
Yeah.
But still, it had to be a little scary.
Well, I tried to read every book, look at every movie, and I've been climbing. I started from Matterhorn, and I've been climbing, so I've been in occasions where I've had exposure like this. So yes, you have to prepare.
Now, this is what you were hiking for. This is what you're working for all that time. This is the summit.
That is the summit. That is when you're supposed to scream, yes, I did it.
And tell us about the summit. What did you find there?
You get to the summit and you don't scream, yes, I did it. You say, phew, I have to make it down now.
And it's not that large, huh? It's about the big as a dining room table.
It's big as a dining room table. It's not that big, and after that you have some gentle snow and then straight down.
And you mentioned that now you're thinking about getting down, because that's the hardest part. That's where the most people lose their lives.
Absolutely. Almost everybody dies is on the way down. And the higher you climb, the higher risk you're taking.
So you're up there for 20 minutes, then you start back down.
And then we start immediately back down, and you're scared.
And the whole time you're just trying to think, don't make any mistakes.
Not to make a single mistake. You have an hour and a half, an hour before you climbed over that body, you know you can't make a mistake.
And you luckily worked hard, and you made it down safely, obviously. When you got to the summit, show us what you held up.
This is a banner that's very clear, dear to my heart.
Teen Life Counts.
Teen Life Counts, and that's, my summit was dedicated to
This is a
Teen Life
suicide
Counts.
awareness program.
Absolutely.
And you're making a documentary to show that climbing a mountain is like fighting suicide in a way. Tell us about that.
We're making a documentary called The Prize. It will be airing on September 25th, and it's the linkage between mountaineering and climbing out of depression. Climbing out of depression is like climbing the highest mountain. It's tough. You have to conquer your fears, conquer all the odds, but we can do it.
And you speak to school kids and that kind of thing?
That is correct. I go to schools and I encourage teenagers to do the best they can and to overcome everything. And I show them pictures of that. Even I, starting very late in life, I can do it, they can do it.
And that's one more thing I want to mention. I mean, I don't want to embarrass you. You're 46 years old. You look much younger than that, but you're not, most of these climbers are 20 and 30, right? In their 20s and 30s.
That is correct. I'm considered old for the mountain.
And this had to be a challenge for your family as well, 3 children and your husband.
I couldn't have done it without them. They were backing me up, and they did go through a lot of worries for me, so I really, really love them for it.
Congratulations. What an adventure. Nice
Thanks so much.
Thanks for being here. That's our show for this week. We want to hear your thoughts and your comments. You can email us at wwltv.com. Just click on Sunday Morning, or you can send your comments to Sunday Morning, 1024 North Rampart Street, New Orleans, 70116. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again next Sunday morning.